Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist, brought to you by One Pitch. The guests on our show include some of the most notable journalists from the top US-based publications who cover topics including technology, lifestyle and culture, health, science, consumer products, and business news. We discuss their role, the types of stories they cover, what their inbox looks like, and how they connect with sources. Today on the show, Dom Nicastro, a senior reporter for CMSWire and Reworked, sits down for a sip of coffee with us. Dom joined Simpler Media Group in 2014 and covers digital customer experience technology and strategies for the digital workplace and employee experience. He is also currently a Saturday morning radio show host for the North Shore Sports Desk on 104.9. Previously, Dom was a managing editor and freelance healthcare editor. During today's episode, Dom talks about his technology disconnect during the holidays, the new Rework website and editor, why he wants to connect with people and not companies, and more. Let's hear more from Dom now.
Welcome, everyone, to Coffee with the Journalist. I'm Beck Bamberger. We're in season 2 now, having a great time with all of our journalists. And we've done, as I mentioned before, I think at the top of another show, now 50 plus episodes in. So having just continued exceptional journalists on this show, which include today's guest, Dom Nicastro, who's here from CMSWire and Reworked, where you're the senior reporter. You also got a radio show, which we'll talk about in a second. Totally different from those publications, by the way. So you're doing a lot of things. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, glad to be here and, honored to be in season 2 of the podcast. So we got to really live up to the hype here. Netflix series, right? Season 1's always hot. You get excited. Everyone's talking about it. But season 2, you got to come out and be better, So the pressure's on.
The pressure is on. Thank you, Dom, for knowing that. Yes. Well, let's start first with your inbox, of course. How crazy does it get with pitches from publicists in there, if at all? I don't know.
Yeah, it could be a full-time job if I were to, see my duties as checking my email. That's how many pitches I get. It's hard to quantify, day by day, but it's massive. And one thing I stopped doing was we took a 2-week break over the holidays, and basically I stopped catching up in my inbox because it's just too much. I said, something, Dom, is something important enough is going to come to your email, that's going to resurface in the new year, right? I mean, I'm not going to go.
So did you do a mass delete? What did you do?
No, I actually, I'm really, really bad. I don't clean up my inbox.
Oh, you're one of the let it roll, let it ride.
Oh, yeah. It's for, people with obsessive compulsions that they would hate my inbox. They would have nightmares over it. I don't really group things like, ooh, this is in the area of marketing. Let me throw that into that folder. Nope. Again, Beck, the thing is, it'd be a full-time job if I did that.
Yes. It's interesting. Some people who are on here, they code, they flag, and then there are the total opposite, 57,000 emails, letting it ride. There's the mass deleters, they just delete every single thing that comes in. It's quite the spectrum. But for the pitches you do get, because you said there's a lot, what makes you respond to one?
Well, you have to know the audience. You have to know what we're going for.
Tell us a little bit about that. Actually, I think for folks who aren't familiar with your work and CMSWire, and Reworked.
No, totally. So CMSWire, the parent company is Simpler Media Group. Been around since 2003, and there's 2 websites, so CMSWire.com and Reworked.co. Originally, Reworked.co is brand new. It's less than a year old. CMSWire was really the flagship website. The audience for CMSWire, because we've kind of separated the 2 now, is really, anybody who's interested in creating digital customer experiences. So marketers, CMOs, VP of customer experience, people who care about customer data privacy stuff like that. So really marketers and customer experience, if I could speak in broad terms.
3 million people read and review your stuff.
Yeah, it's a healthy audience. It's almost 20 years now. And Reworked, we get a great new website, and it's by a new editor. We got him from the HCM team. Human Capital Media. His name is Mike Prokopik. So, and by the way, Rich Hine is the editor and Siobhan Fagan for the other ones. But Mike Prokopik runs Reworked, and that is, I mean, talk about good timing. That website is all about remote work, future of work, employee experience, taking care of your digital workplace. I mean, can you imagine the timing on that website with what happened last year?
Amazing timing.
Yeah. And that's an audience we've always written to on CMSWire, but we decided to, off-brand that and come out with Reworked and kind of separate the two: employee experience on the Reworked house and then customer experience on the CMSWire house.
And you're working for both. And then, by the way, well, actually, do you get pitches for your radio show?
Sometimes, yeah, very rarely. They don't. It's hard to find me like in a digital sense that I am a radio guy. That's a real small gig. It's a 1-hour show on the weekends.
Sports. Totally different.
Yeah, sports gig. It's not in the business to business realm for sure. Yeah. We talk to college coaches, college athletes, high school athletes.
Oh, that's fun. I love that.
Yeah, sometimes former pro athletes who live in our area. So it's a heck of a lot of fun.
That's really fun.
Yeah. But your original question was to get, for public relations folks, the bottom line is you're going to be representing a company most of the time, like a brand, a vendor, some company that employed you to get their name out there. But that's the last thing I'm interested in, is promoting a company. I want to have content that makes customer experience folks, that makes digital marketers, CMOs kind of stop and say, hey, maybe I can try that way to do my job better.
Yeah, the incentives are disaligned sometimes with publicists and journalists. And it's the good publicists who can get those incentives to align, which is, okay, this is a really great story, which, by the way, helps my client.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can connect me with people, not companies, but people who are experienced in an area that my website cares about, it's that easy. I got a guy that I'm representing his company, and he just has so many thoughts on how CMOs should work with CIOs. Are you working? I see that you've done that story before. Are you planning to refresh that story? Because he or she would be a great source. That would win me over. You know what the best line I've ever heard from a PR professional was?
What?
Dom, can I source any of your stories?
Oh, that is brilliant.
That's it. And you know what? She did. I've had this professional, her name was Elizabeth Farley. She's awesome. I've had her source multiple stories from that point because I said, actually, yeah, I'm sure to source here. And this one I'm working on, I'm sure to source here. Who do you got? Yeah, of course, I'll kind of look into them. I don't want to have just any source on any story. I mean, they got to make sense, but that's it. I put a LinkedIn post about her comment. I'm like, hey, PR professionals, I love you to death, but this is the best one I've ever gotten. How can I help you source any stories? That
is great. And then from there, just so we're clear, you responded and said, yeah, okay, I got these 6 stories. Like, what do you got?
Exactly.
Like you just said. And what's so great about that is now I'm taking off work from your plate.
Right.
Which hopefully helps my client. So now see the double incentive thing here.
Yeah, I just sit back and let the PR rep work her magic and, find me a good source. Now, of course, it's a risk, right? She might not find the greatest source. I'm like, this one's kind of, and if that source doesn't deliver, the PR person's right in the middle, because a lot of times these sources aren't well coached enough by the PR professional to not do any product promotions, not any indirect product promotions in their commentary. We get that all the time, you really should use automation because automation's so cool, said the automation vendor.
That's great. Wonderful insight. By the way, you shouted out somebody. Who was that woman again? So we could just give her a little praise.
Yeah, Elizabeth Farley. She's like an independent PR person, and I don't think she's part of a big company. But yeah, an independent contractor who has several clients, and she's such a pleasant person to work with. Yeah.
that goes into the making of a good story. Now, you're, of course, talking to a very specific audience. You're talking about tools for customer experience and CMOs and CTOs or CIOs, how they interact. So there's a specificity. It's not that you're a general reporter like, oh, let me just go into the ether. What I'm asking, though, is how do you come up with a great story?
Whatever my editors say yes to.
There you go. Okay. So are you do you sometimes though get these ideas from pitches, ideas while you're like walking, get them like scanning Twitter? Kind of where do you source those ideas?
A lot of it is listening to reputable sources. When I say reputable sources, I mean neutral analyst firms. You're talking about your Gartners, your Forresters, Aragon Research, Real Story Group with Tony Byrne. Like those for me are folks that are not loyal to vendors for the most part. And they are putting content out there that they're talking to customers, they're talking to people, real stakeholders, people that use the technology that I care about. So a lot of my story ideas come from those folks when they come out with new, fresh reports, like a Gartner Magic Quadrant or a Forrester Wave. But a lot of it is just listening to the pulse of social media, right? LinkedIn is really good with knowing kind of what I care about, It serves me up a lot of content about marketers and marketing concerns, the things CMOs are saying. I get served up CMO posts so much. And I'm like, oh, wow, the CMOs care about this. Then I start reading.
There's something.
Yeah. And I start reading the comment trail. And I'm like, oh my God, really? A lot of people care about this. And then I verify it. I verify it maybe with a fact or a data report that, this is a broad problem. Let's write an article that tries to help solve the problem or talk about the problem.
Got it. Okay. Any ways in which a story that came to be surprised you? Where you're like, wow, that was some random phone call and it just happened to roll into this thing. Has anything like that happened before?
Oh, sure. All the time. Man, I'll tell you, pre-pandemic, the pandemic's had a huge effect on reporting.
The before time, yes.
Yeah, before time, yeah. So a lot of those stories that I got would kind of just fall in my lap when I'm at business conferences. And I'm not talking about the Adobe keynote or CES keynote or open text or I'm talking about the conversations at lunch, the conversations in the cocktail hour, the conversations where the spying, the sneaky reporter goes up to a person who's all alone and bothers them. Say, hey, how you doing? I see, what are you doing? Nah, just a random person come up to you. But
it's just like organic bumping into you, chatting, and then it turns into something.
That's gold. That's gold. And this has not happened. You do not have that forum in the pandemic.
All those serendipitous moments, I've missed that a lot, because it's just that 10-minute conversation at the dinner party. It's that thing that you bump into somebody, and God, those lead to so much. So totally get it.
And some people get, and I don't really, not that I'm totally like not upfront. Well, kind of sometimes. I might not tell them I'm a journalist right away. Hello, sir, ma'am. I'm looking for a story. Like, you can't scare them. Like,
yeah.
So I'll talk. I'll just talk like I'm in their business. Like, oh, what's going on with you? Do you use the Adobe software, or what line of work are you? Are you a customer experience person? So we start talking, and everyone at the lunch table starts talking. And then at the end, I'm like, wait, you know something? I'm working on a story on that. I happen to be a journalist. I would love to use what you said. Maybe you can say that again. And then I bust out the recorder.
Uh-huh.
And then some of them, of course, will have, concerns of, well, geez, my PR team, blah, blah, blah. And that's the moment where I say, all right, this was a dud for the story, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it somehow. Everything someone tells you is valuable if you're a journalist, because you're going to take that and try to corroborate it from someone else.
That is gold right there, too. Everything is usable.
Yeah. And guess what? I want to add one more thing on the inbox. Don't be afraid as a PR professional to send an email. And actually, I don't have to say that because I know they're not afraid.
They're not afraid, yes. But they send too many sometimes. That's the problem.
Yeah. If I see the same emails from the same person, I don't get too annoyed. I get annoyed if they persist in the sense like, Dom, I really, really think this is a good story, like that kind of thing.
Oh, and they're just like, they won't let it die. They won't let it die. Hanger-ons.
It's fine to follow up a couple times, but one of the best sources, like you may get shot down now as a PR professional from a journalist with your email. He or she might not look at it, but I might go back to it 8 months later because my inbox is a wealth. I'll tell you, like I said earlier, I do not organize, but I do search it. I do search my inbox.
Yeah, a lot of people do that too. I hear more and more. I mean, I do it myself personally. Yeah. I don't file anything. I just do the search, and the search is so good. It works. So you kind of fit. You're like, oh, what was that name? And I kind of got that company. And then I did it yesterday where I was like, I can't remember but you punch in 4 words and then it comes up. It's great. It's
my own little Google for reporting.
It is.
It's 100% part of my reporting for every story. I'm like, all right, let's go to my inbox first to see if someone exists in there that could speak to this topic that I didn't care about a year and a half ago, but now I do.
It's popped up. So I think take-home message for just PR people is, hey, an email is never wasted in your situation because it might come back.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why knowing the audience is good too. Because if Dom, I'll look for often like VP of customer experience. I'll search that like crazy. Chief marketing officer. I'll search that like crazy. So if you know who the people I talk to are, the titles they have, that's the person you want to serve up to me. Don't look at the topics, obviously, like, oh, he's talking about AI and customer experience. He's talking about marketing automation systems. Great. But even better is look who I am sourcing in terms of their titles. That should give you a good hint on what would make me say yes to a source.
Good insights, Dom.
Today's interview will continue after this brief message brought to you by OnePitch. Are you curious to see the unique ways OnePitch helps PR professionals and marketers pitch journalists? Head to onepitch.co to learn about our new OnePitch score and see how easy it is to find the right journalist to pitch your news to. Sign up for your free account today. Now, back to today's episode.
Let's play a little word association game, if you're down for it.
Let's do it.
Shall I give you the word and we'll see what happens? Okay. Hobby.
Walking the dog. Wait, I have to do one word?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll take that. By the way, is that your dog on your Twitter page?
Yes.
Mackie. That's a cute picture.
Yes.
What is Mackie?
We don't know. I mean, he's had the typical. Yeah, I don't know what he is. No, we had a typical tough background. Puerto Rico, abandoned. Poor guy was like all scrunched up with his puppy brothers and sisters.
Oh no! So this was a rescue?
They rescued him. I didn't rescue him. They did. I live in the house with them now.
Gotcha.
When I say they, it's a great organization, and we went through them. And you know what I did? These COVID protections, and I'm all for it. I wear masks everywhere, and I don't want to get COVID. I don't want to spread it to a single person. But I did, in the heart of the pandemic, fly to Miami when it was so bad.
Grab the dog.
I grabbed the dog, and he had a friend with him. I brought them both up to Boston.
People are crazy about their dogs. It's a dog explosion right now, too.
Yeah, we lost our guy after 10 years in April of the pandemic.
Oh, God, that's the worst.
So, and I think my wife, Pam, if there were to be a clinical diagnosis, she would actually have this. Like, she can't live without a dog. Like, it's clinically not healthy.
Yes.
It's not healthy for her. All right. Sorry to hijack the word association.
Anyway, okay. Yeah, that's right. Let's get back. Okay. Hobby. That was the walking the dog. Food.
Chinese.
Drink.
Captain Morgan's.
SEO.
Content.
Facebook.
Zuckerberg.
MarTech.
Scott Brinker.
Okay. Sports.
Baseball.
Privacy.
Leave me alone.
Work from home.
Kitchen.
Boston.
Red Sox.
Journalism.
Fun.
Pitch.
Relevancy.
Inbox.
Too much.
Okay. No one's had a positive association with that last one.
Inbox. Glorious.
Nope. Haven't heard of that yet. What are you, especially in this pandemic time, reading, enjoying? We'll take watching, listening, any content you're consuming. Any favorites right now that you love?
Yeah. I mean, does Netflix count? Watching Breaking Bad?
Sure. Okay, Breaking Bad. Oh, a little old school. Okay.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Like, I know people like to brag about the massive books they read. I'm not a huge book guy. The books I've read are like columns, a bunch of columns from journalists like Mike Royko, an old school journalist in Chicago, or Tom Boswell, an old sports reporter from the Washington Post. Like, I enjoy those books. That's like a compilation of things. In terms of, general content consumption, in my role, in my job, it's really those reports that are hit at the heart of what my readers care about. So I'm going to be diving into a lot of those Magic Quadrants, waves, Deloitte reports on customer experience concerns in 2021. That's like gold for me. I love that. That kind of thing. Man, I used to be a huge newspaper reader, and I'm not now.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Well, we're going to talk about the future of journalism, but yeah. I read the Wall Street Journal every day in print.
Good.
Because I love to turn the pages. And then just growing up, we always had the San Diego Union Tribune. My parents still read that, which is very paper thin now at this point. But, oh, yeah, that was like part of my childhood. I like to touch the pages.
Yeah.
I really do. And the New York Times on a Sunday.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm a victim. I'm a digital victim consumption wise of social. I get a lot of my information and inspiration from LinkedIn, things like that.
Hey, it's okay.
Man, I wish I had that desire to have. But hey, when I'm waiting for a prescription, oh yeah, I'm reading the paper. I'm not buying it, but I'm reading it.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
I wonder if I should leave 50 cents though when I do that.
Oh yeah. I'm always happy to pay like the price. Like my boyfriend just got the New York Times on Sunday. Yeah. He's like, it was $7. I'm like, damn straight for Sunday. There's 300 pages in this thing. Are you kidding me? At least you could pay $7.
Is it $7 now?
It's $7, but the Sunday edition, which you can spend 5 hours reading that. You can't get through the whole thing.
Yeah, I remember the Sunday Boston Globes growing up. Those were, and actually, the newspapers were huge inspirations for me in my journalism career. I probably relate this to the other question, but about the future. But that was huge. My mentors were journalists in newspapers. Reading them over and over again, day after day.
Well, I got to ask you then, future journalism, what do you think of it?
I'll steal Brad Pitt's character in Moneyball. He told one of his old school baseball agents that you just have to adapt or die. There's obviously been an attack on journalism, but I think the attack really, when you look at it, where it was coming from, not the best source. And a lot of just rhetoric and screaming and yelling just because journalists didn't go a certain way. The job of a journalist is not to make anyone really happy. That's the bottom line. By default, you're really going to piss off one person probably in a story, while someone may be happy, someone may be not. But the future of journalism itself, I don't think, if the integrity of wanting to get to the truth through valid sources, truthful data that inspires the person reading it to think about it in a different way maybe than they might have before. Or, I didn't know that. Now, see, that makes me change my mind, because if the art of journalism remembers that that's what the core is, it's going to be okay. But the mediums have changed so much. I think it's like citizen journalism. So much citizen journalism out there. We have
yes, there is.
We have this young fella, right? He wants to. So he's been on our radio show a couple weeks. We call him the winter intern. So
winter intern.
Yeah. he took initiative. He's out of Connecticut School of Broadcasting. He took initiative and reached out to me cold. Said, "I want to get some experience in radio. Can I be on your show?" And I said, "Yes." That right there. No one's ever approached me like that.
Yeah, I love it.
And I love the initiative. That initiative alone, he gets a shot. If he turns out to be crap, then I'll boot him off. But you know what? He gets the shot. And I was thinking, though, because this kid, right, he has this 2,000 subscriber, 1,000 views every post YouTube channel where he analyzes the Boston Bruins hockey team.
Oh, okay. So he's got a niche influence.
Yeah.
And probably fan base.
I'm going to ask him this. I go, so, by the way, why do you want to come on FM radio again?
Yeah.
Where he has
Have you
this.
asked him that yet, or you haven't asked him yet?
I think I might have. I forgot if I busted his chops in off the air or on the air. I forgot, but I had brought it up to him, and I think that answers the question about the future of journalism. I think it's going to be run by people like him that can know where the audience is. I don't think in the future. I'm talking maybe none of us sees this, but I don't think in the future you're going to have a formal media institution. I think people like him, bold prediction here, might overtake and put out of business an institution like the New York Times.
Wow.
Yeah, I really do. Because it's brand new, right? It's these social media commentators are 20, 15 years old,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think someday
I love this bold prediction.
Yeah. I think someday it's just going to be, all right, what are people saying on video? I don't need to go subscribe anywhere else.
The other element of that from like a political point of view is, or little footnote is, of course, in societies that allow that, that's a whole other like global commentary on that, because there's places that's never going to exist.
No, right. Wasn't there the woman in China who tried to really throw out, and she got arrested for throwing out the the big reports about COVID.
There was Journalists Without Borders just came out. This was in December with their annual list, and 50 journalists were killed this year or murdered. Killed, murdered, however you want it, died from reporting this year. Well, in 2020. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. A New York Times photographer with the events of early January, posted a photo essay of her photos from the time when they, on Wednesday, January 6th, when people stormed the Capitol and she got beat up and her camera taken away. And it's all because people were yelling at her, New York Times, New York Times.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Wow.
So right now that the aforementioned attack on journalism is leading to some people being in physical harm's way. And that's an absolute shame. And it offends me on so many levels.
Yeah, for everyone else to have the information. Agreed. Well, I like your bold prediction, Dom. And
it's already happening. It's not even that bold. Like,
yeah, this is true.
Like, wow, Dom Nicastro says people in social have influence. Like, no, I mean, it's so obvious. I
believe you said take over New York Times at one point. So that was the bold part.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, to lighten it up a little bit here as we end this, we're going to do a little Mad Lib. So I'll give you the word and you'll fill it in, whatever it is, and then I'll read you back the whole piece. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. First one is just a catchphrase, any catchphrase.
God, we're supposed to not do that in journalism, right? We're supposed to avoid these. That's why I can't come up with
I know. Everyone struggles with this.
Oh, here it is. What it is.
It is what it is. That's perfect. Okay, what's a scare phrase you will hear in journalism?
Scare phrase?
Yeah, like deadline.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one there. For me, actually, it's got a sec. When my editor says that to me, got a sec, I'm like, damn it, I'm in trouble.
Oh, got it. Okay, what about like an empowering word that you'd hear?
In journalism? In my role?
Yeah,
okay.
In your role.
Relevance.
Okay, an adjective.
Thoughtful.
A part of a pitch.
Source.
Yes, as we talked about. Okay, another adjective.
Friendly.
And then another part of a pitch.
Client, which I hate, by the way.
Client.
I hate
you hate that people when they meet it, they say, "Oh, my client was available for an interview."
Yes, it makes it so cold.
Yeah, it also is cold. Yeah, my client.
Yeah.
Yeah, faceless, nameless. Yeah, exactly. The person who pays me. Okay, an amount of time.
No, 3 hours.
3 hours. How about an adjective?
Crazy.
Crazy. Singular noun.
That.
That?
No. Sorry.
Like
house.
Okay, house. Okay. What about a topic? We're almost done.
COVID.
A verb ending in ing.
Running.
And then a verb, just any verb.
Walk.
Okay. Here we go. Dom, I'm going to read it back. To me, tech journalism is what it is. It consists of got a second from my editor and irrelevance on the daily. If a pitch has a thoughtful source, I will absolutely respond to it. However, if a pitch has a friendly client, you can expect no reply from me. If 3 hours goes by and you don't see an email back from me, you can just assume I am not crazy about it. The best stories always have a house and are usually about COVID. And the best way to reach me is running it to me, but you can also walk it to me.
Geez, the fact that I turned down a friendly client is like, wow. What would I want? A mean one?
No, but maybe it's the client word that threw you off. Oh, that was fun.
Yeah.
I actually think in a way, the best stories have a house and are usually about COVID. That's kind of accurate.
Yeah, no, the best stories about COVID. Yeah, I mean, everyone in terms of best, it's people are going to read it, right? I mean,
yes.
For the consumption of COVID information is never enough. So sometimes it makes us too crazy, though.
Yeah, this is true.
I said, my mother, she said, well, what? I was with that person, and then what if that person had it before, and then what if this person I said, Ma, there's the bottom line: don't talk to another human or be with another human ever again. Then you're safe.
You're good. Simple to follow. Yeah. Simple to follow. Well, thank you, Dom, for being on today. Do you want to plug your radio show, by the way, just for fun?
No, I want to plug my CMSWire. No,
okay,
that's okay.
CMSWire. Everyone check out CMSWire and Reworked. And
if you can Google it, the radio show. It's a Saturday morning, North Shore 104.9 FM, and we're the North Shore Sports Desk.
It's called Nick and Nick Show.
Yeah, but the one that keeps me most busy is CMSWire.com and rework.co.
Exactly. We'll be sure to check it out. Thanks again, Dom. This was fun.
Yeah, very fun. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Coffee with the Journalist featuring Dom Nicastro from CMSWire. If you enjoy listening to our show, make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you have a moment, please leave us a review to share your thoughts about the show and today's guest. To learn more about the latest tools on OnePitch, head to our website at onepitch.co. We'll see you all next week with a brand new guest and even more insights about the journalist you want to learn more about. Until then, start great stories.